This is Get Real and Heal for high-performing women executives and entrepreneurs, where we discuss all things emotional healing and the relationships with yourself, your man, and your money. I'm your host, Jamila McMallow, wife, mother, certified cognitive behavioral therapy practitioner, mindset and relationship expert with over 20 years coaching and mentoring experience. I know that when you're the one that everyone else leans on, the leader and the trailblazer, it can be difficult to let your guard down, be vulnerable, and tend to your own emotions. So I hope today's discussion will allow you a moment to experience a life-changing realization, perhaps even a transformation. So let's begin and get real and heal. Today's discussion is on embodying your feminine strength in marriage. Again, this is another topic under the umbrella of what I've been focusing on this entire season, which is the Feminine Ease movement, which is all about supporting women who are happily married to good men. And not just any woman, but the high-performing, high-achieving woman. Because you know, we are different. So, before we get into our discussion, a couple of things. I want to share with you that I have an incredible Cyber Monday offer. You can learn more about it by checking out my Instagram stories. The offer is going to be good through Monday, December 2nd at 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So make sure you follow me on Instagram at Jamila McMallow. Check out my stories, and you'll find all the details there. Also, if you haven't had a chance to go to CoachJamila.com and check out the 2 courses that I have released so far as a part of the Feminine Ease movement, you want to definitely make sure you do. Again, go to CoachJamila.com, click on courses, and you'll see the first one is No External Validation Needed. Okay? And that course is all about helping you to redefine success according to what makes you happy, and breaking up with this singular idea that in order to be, air quotes, successful, you have to continue to climb to greater and greater levels of professional success and income. So I want to encourage you to check those out if you haven't already. Both are powerful, the mini training and the full-on mini course, which is called Trust Yourself, because that is really step one when you've always kind of found your validation through the teacher, through the parent, through the boss. You might believe that you trust yourself, but really, if you find yourself getting an idea and you instantly want to turn around and ask someone if it's good or if it's okay, or you feel yourself needing that second opinion, that's an indication that to the level and degree that you need to trust yourself, you probably have a little bit more work to do there. Because in order to transition fully into your feminine ease era, you're going to have to be willing to release all of the programming and conditioning that you've been subject to for most of your life. So let's talk about embodying your feminine strength in marriage. So when I was thinking about this topic, I had a conversation with my husband. I asked him, I said, when you think about me being feminine, because men and women don't think about the same things. I said, what do you think about when I say that, like me being feminine in our relationship? And he says, well, you getting dressed up, and looking really pretty. That's one way I think of it. And I said, and what about like in our relationship? And he said, well, you don't compete with me. He said, you don't try to do everything on your own or act like you don't need me, and you rely on me. And so I said, and you like that? And he said, yeah. And so I'm going to leave that right there with you for a moment to let that sink in. He likes and appreciates the fact that I rely on him. So while you're out here trying to prove your worthiness to your husband, as if somehow you're not worthy of the good love that he's giving you, or the fact that you're out here trying not to be a burden, or trying not to tell him things or ask him for things because you don't want to be a bother. And what you don't understand is that your good man, your good husband, wants you to rely on him. He wants you to lean on him. That makes him feel needed, valued, and useful in the relationship. It allows him to show up for you in ways that he wants to carry the load, to shoulder things that make your life easier. But if you're not willing to allow yourself and him the opportunity for your relationship to be that way, you will exhaust yourself by continuing to do too much, and you will really hurt him, because the interpretation there is if you don't lean on him and you don't rely on him, it's because on some level you don't trust him. And the truth is, even though he has built a track record of faithfulness and loyalty and friendship and love and support, your background, whether you grew up with a single mom, whether you grew up in a family where money was tight, or you got messaging that you couldn't trust men, you had to rely on yourself, etc., you're still running that programming in your relationship, in your marriage, and you don't need to, because you're actually safe, and you know that consciously, but subconsciously you're still operating from that same place of fear. Those same words maybe your mother told you to, and in her efforts to protect you, actually are now limiting you. All of that. So I wanted to share that with you because I wanted you to hear it from the perspective of a good man, that when you lean on them, when you rely on them, when you ask them for help, it's not a burden to them. They don't view it that way. They view it as, she trusts me to care for her in this way. She trusts me to do this for her. So let me step up, because what it does for them is it gives them an opportunity to make you happy. It gives them an opportunity to impress you, which is what our husbands love to do for us. But when you don't allow yourself to be in your feminine, which is ultimately receiving, then he can't give. And so the relationship, it's just not really optimal for either person. So learning to embody your feminine strength means to embrace your vulnerability. It means to trust your situation, to trust your husband, to know that you're going to be okay, even if the shoe does drop for some unforeseen crazy reason, because you're you and you're going to be just fine no matter what. But what you're not going to do is diminish the joy and peace that you have right now in this moment, this present moment. You have everything that you prayed for. And you're so busy worrying about what hasn't happened and what may never happen that you're not enjoying what you have right now, this second. You're not enjoying that to the full. You're not allowing yourself to fully experience the benefits and the blessings of having a husband who wants to care for you, who wants to provide for you, who wants you to lean on him, who wants you to rely on him. Yes, it may feel foreign. Yes, it may feel odd, but so what? So does strength training when you don't want to lift weights. So does eating healthy when you just want a bowl of ice cream. We do things all the time that are uncomfortable, and because we're focused on the results, the good that is going to do us. And eventually, over time, it becomes a habit, it becomes second nature, and it becomes easy. So don't limit yourself. View your femininity, your feminine energy, as a strength. It's how you were designed. It's how you were created. There is nothing wrong with it. It's just that we have been conditioned, trained, and educated to operate like men because it's a man's world, and we're conditioned to always be working a job and pursuing money and financial and professional success. So we got to act like men, we got to think like men and be like that all the time and do go mode. And this is why you've got this silent pandemic of women over 40 who are all exhausted and tired. And so, because you do have your partner in life, because you do have a teammate, because you do not have to stand in front and lead your family anywhere, because he's standing at the front, he's standing at the helm. You are protected, you are safe, and you know that, but you've got to embody it so that you give yourself permission to not only own it, but enjoy it. You have to accept it as truth. Now, how can you do that? Well, first and foremost, you have to improve your communication. Start telling him what you need. Start telling him what your desires are, and not in a I'm telling you what to do bossy type way. No, because one of the things that a feminine woman, when you are fully into your feminine, which there are moments in time which you have and are, you speak respectfully when you're fully in your feminine. You're not ready to fight. You're not on edge. You're not dukes up. You're not being guarded. And men value respect. And so when you make a man feel respected, when your husband feels respected, when he feels like you value his opinion, you value him as a man, you trust him, you even admire him, you look up to him. Like, I truly admire my husband because of his character, because of who he has shown himself to be from day one of us having conversations and getting to know each other, when he approached me about trying to date. And yes, he is 6'5" and I'm 5'3", but that's not why I look up to him. I look up to him because of his character, his honesty, his mildness, his calmness, his just natural desire to be there for me, to protect me, to be a safe place. And I know that as I'm telling you these qualities, you're nodding your head because you know it's true of your husband too. And so let that well up in your heart. Feel that right there in the center of your chest, that overwhelming sense of gratitude that you don't have that scary situation maybe that you grew up in, or maybe that was your previous marriage, okay? Because, hey, this is my second time around. I got it wrong the first time too. And this has healed every wound. Now, I had to do my own work first to position myself to be in this relationship. But my husband's love, him loving me the right way, has erased every previous wound. It's basically erased that first relationship, that first marriage. I can't even remember it. And you know what I'm talking about. So it's okay to acknowledge that you don't want to do it all, that you can't do it all. Because the only person that has set that standard or expectation for you is you. And so, again, leaning into your feminine, allowing yourself to receive, believing you are worthy of receiving and worthy of the love and devotion that your husband is showing you is key. So I want you this week, or in your journaling maybe tomorrow when you get up in the morning, however you spend your time. I like to do my journaling in the morning. It's part of my morning mindset routine. I want you to journal, and I want you to really ask yourself, how am I leaning on my husband? In what ways do I rely on him? And in what additional ways could I rely on him? And what am I grateful for what he does? All the things he does for me, what am I truly grateful for? And after you write all that down, I want you to formulate your thoughts, and I want you to share it with him. I want you to tell him what you appreciate about what he does for you, what you're grateful for, and to express to him from your heart how else you would like to be supported in the relationship. And watch him rise to the occasion. So, I want to thank you for being here with me to have this conversation today. And I want to, again, encourage you to follow me on Instagram at Jamila McMallow and check out my stories to find out my Cyber Monday offer, and to visit CoachJamila.com, click on courses, and check out the first 2 courses that have been released from the Feminine Ease Movement umbrella. Now, until our next conversation, which will be on motherhood with ease, and we're going to be talking about homeschooling and beyond, and really, my homeschooling philosophy is unschooling. So this is going to be a really fun discussion. If you're a mother and you're still in the season of raising children, and if you've ever thought about homeschooling but have felt like maybe, I don't know if I can do it, this is going to be a powerful conversation for you as well. So until next time, I want you to know that you are worthy and deserving of everything you already have, what you have created, and what you desire, simply because you live, breathe, and exist. Visit CoachJamila.com, where you'll find the links to connect with me on social media and more information on my private coaching for high-performing women.